Welcome back to Business Talk here on businesstech.co.za. As always, I'm your host, Michael Avery, and today we've got a really fascinating conversation lined up with a leader who's really at the forefront of innovation in the IT and networking space, has been for almost 3 decades. Joining us is Bradley Love, the MD of Network Platforms. With 30 years experience in the IT sector, he brings a wealth of knowledge and commitment to delivering quality services with integrity and transparency. And today we're going to be exploring how Network Platforms is revolutionizing the digital landscape for ISPs, for WISPs and MSPs across South Africa. Bradley, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Michael. Nice to be chatting to you.
Now, you've kept a relatively low profile, so let's maybe start with an overview of Network Platforms, because you've got some of South Africa's top companies as your clients. Can you just share with us what the company offers and what sets it apart in a very competitive market?
Network Platforms, we've been around since 2003, and we've transitioned from, we started as an MSP. We then we're also importing communication equipment, where we developed relationships with various ISPs and MSPs in the local market. We transitioned into the connectivity space in about 2008, where we were offering in the infancy of ADSL, and we then also started offering leased lines, or what was referred to as DGNet. And then we progressively moved into the connectivity space and cloud space from a wholesale perspective. So our clients, we exclusively offer services via either MSPs, internet service providers, or wireless internet service providers on a national basis. We've, at this point, I think on the internet service space, we're servicing about 50 internet service providers throughout South Africa. They purchase wholesale capacity from us, and we do the same for wireless ISPs. In the MSP space, we're also offering them connectivity solutions and cloud solutions. So we basically try to fulfill the role of trying to enhance their services that they can offer, and as a bespoke type plug-in modular type service. So they don't have to go deploy certain infrastructures. So if they want to start off, if they're predominantly an FTTH internet service provider, and they want to offer, because the margins are so tight, they generally want to offer some value-added services like voice over IP. We can facilitate that at wholesale rates without them having to deploy infrastructure and manage that infrastructure. So which increases their margins. So there's a lot of modular type services that we do facilitate, and we just plug in where they need us. So that's pretty much us in a nutshell.
It sounds like an infrastructure as a service type of offering when I hear you describe it like that. Now, I know your IP transit service is notably popular among South African ISPs and wireless ISPs as well. What do you think makes the service stand out from other options that are available in the market?
I think there's a couple things that differentiate us, and one is that we don't compete with our customers in the market. So we don't sell services direct to businesses. We sell through wholesale and channel. So our customers have peace of mind that we're not competing in the market space with them directly. So we actually prefer that we help them build their brand. We just want to be in the background, helping them build their businesses. So it becomes a very symbiotic relationship where it works as they grow, it works in our benefit. So then I think another differentiator is we don't buy IP transit from local providers. We buy IP transit from tier ones, and we pick them up where they're strong. So as we've got international capacities on the subsea cables directly, so that gives us the ability to if we need to be traffic engineering on our network, because we've got multiple paths. A particular path might have a problem. We've seen in the past you have anchors being dropped on subsea cables and they go down. So we always make sure that we've got capacities on all the cables. We make sure that we've got good latencies to all geographic locations worldwide. So we understand that game. So we've got international POPs with those subsea cables. So we also, because we are specializing in delivering connectivity services to the South African market, it also puts us in a position where we can better engineer the traffic catered for South Africa. So what happens with our competitors, they are servicing multiple regions. They might be up the east and west coast in other countries. So it becomes more difficult for them to optimize the traffic for the South African market. They can to a degree, but because we're specializing in the South African market, it really does give us a benefit where we can make sure that we've got the best paths and routes out in and out of South Africa. So I think that's which bodes well for our customers, because it's a very competitive market space, and we need these things to differentiate themselves from their competitors.
Yeah, continuity and uptime becomes key in so many industries when you're providing this kind of service. And I believe that your national long-distance service, you've chosen to implement 3 different providers between key points like Terrico, CG1 and JB1, as well as DB1 and JB1. So that kind of feeds into the strategy, doesn't it, to benefit your clients and enhance the reliability of the service?
In fact, so we've now actually between Terrico Riverhorse in Durban and Johannesburg Terrico, we've actually now implemented 5 different paths. We historically had 3 different paths, but the problem is, I think for as long as I can remember, there's been civil works along the N3. I think they've been working on the N3 for the last 10 years, different segments. And some of the fiber routes actually run along the N3, and there's a few providers that share ducts. So even though they're independent fiber paths, when there's civil works and a digger or they're doing construction work, they break the cables and you have multiple cables go down. So we've paid our school fees in terms of, because we find that there's not always a lot of transparency in the market. So you do ask the questions when you do take these services: do you share any paths and routes with anybody else? And the answer is normally no. But when you've got when you've got them you've taken multiple paths. What we've seen in the past is that both links on different providers that actually own the paths that put the fiber in the ground go down at exactly the same time, and it happens quite often. So because we've been doing this for a while, we've paid our school fees and we've learned which paths are shared, which aren't, and which aren't. And because of the civil works, between Durban and Johannesburg, we wanted to ensure that our uptime is as best as it can possibly be. So we've actually implemented 5 independent provided paths between Johannesburg and Durban, and then Cape Town and Joburg we have 3. But those routes are generally more stable. So we at this point we feel that 3 paths are sufficient. And one of the big things that providers need where we can add value is a lot of we've got peering exchanges where there's a lot of content which is locally now available. So you've got Netflix, Akamai, Microsoft, Azure, and the way providers access this content is through our peering exchanges. And so there's a big benefit for providers that are specializing in the KZN market and the Cape Town market to actually access NAP Africa and Asanda, because that's most probably one of the biggest content exchanges in our market. We have seen in recent times the Jinxes or the Inxes grow. So the Durban Dinks Durban Internet Exchange has grown nicely. Cape Town exchange has grown nicely. So there's a lot of content that's available regionally, but there's still a big drive to get to NAP Africa and Johannesburg. So, and that we generally use those national links for those providers to access the content. So that's better performance. They're closer to the content, and it reduces their bandwidth commitment on their IP transit. So, yeah, we've invested quite heavily in those links to ensure that we have a very good uptime and a reliable service.
And those markets, are just growing almost exponentially, given our never-ending demand for bandwidth as consumers of content on devices that are allowing greater resolutions at lower cost and some more significant speeds. All of that then just feeds into a fantastic runway for network. Your managed service provider, your MSP offering, has also gained quite significant traction over the years. How does Network Platform support MSPs in maximizing the value of the service that they provide to their clients?
So from an MSP perspective, our offering is, again, aimed at the wholesale and channel market. So how we see ourselves is an extension of our customers' technical resources. So with peace of mind that we're not competing with them. So the problem that we face in our industry is that the technical ability to do what we do. When you finding the technical resources is quite difficult, and when you do find those technical resources, they come at a very high cost to companies. So we can facilitate conversations where we can help. We help a lot of our customers in terms of optimizing the network configurations, advising them on how to improve their infrastructures. So that the user experience is improved. And these could be things from TCP optimization applications, cloud services where we try to help them automate a lot of their businesses, so the integration with their radius infrastructure, which generally controls their users and the capacities they're using on their connectivity. So we try to automate, we try to put them in a better position so that they can scale nicely from a topology perspective. So we just see ourselves as filling in the gaps where we can potentially help our customers from a technical resource perspective. So they've got peace of mind that they've got someone they can come to and engage with if they need assistance on certain points that can improve their service offering.
And, when you talk about, the scarcity of the technical ability to deliver what you deliver, and I'm sure that there are skills internally that you've got to grow in terms of growing your own timber, because as we know in the IT space, it is a constant challenge to have the right skills in the right organizations to continue to grow and deliver. How have you approached the skills challenge internally at Network?
So it has been a challenge, but what we've done is we've also incentivized our teams, our internal teams, to continually upskill. So what we did years ago is we actually implemented a skills matrix, which had all your various certifications on the various technologies that we implement within our infrastructures, and we actually associated a salary increase based on that certification level. So immediately all the technical staff could see if I certified as a CCIE, what the net result would be from a remuneration perspective, which has worked quite nicely. So it definitely motivates the guys and girls in the team to actually upskill, and so we've upskilled and we've been. And it's worked quite nicely. But we've also had a team that we've had in place for a long time. So the expectation, it's like a well-oiled machine at this point. And everybody knows what the expectations are and what the service delivery levels need to be.
It speaks of a great culture as well, which also is something that starts at the top. What are the other primary products and services that you offer your South African clients?
So we've got a big cloud infrastructure implemented in Johannesburg and also in Cape Town, and that's basically your virtual private servers from an enterprise perspective, with lots of redundancies, and there's so many different options in terms of resilience. So that with backup infrastructure, replication, clients can opt to replicate their applications between Johannesburg and Cape Town. So in the event of an issue in the Johannesburg data center, there's the customers, the applications seamlessly work. Our voice over IP offering, we offer wholesale rates. We don't charge for SIP accounts. Some providers will actually charge for a voice account. So we're trying to increase our customers' margins, and we don't have a minimum commit on the voice minutes. We basically put all our customers on the same playing field. They have access to wholesale rates from the word go, and they can effectively manage their markups. We give them a platform where they can go markup. They can have different tiers of markups. So if they've got a customer that's doing a large volume of voice calls, they can mark them up, apply a higher markup, and for or lower markup, depending on what they want to do. So there's a lot of different services that we do offer, and I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into more detail with some articles on the platform over the coming months, where we go into detail of the platform, the various services that we do offer, and because we do have a lot of services that customers can tap into.
Well, and I think that's important because ultimately what you're doing is providing something that's so bespoke and so agile and flexible that, the sky's almost the limit. So the bottom line is if you're an ISP or if you're WISP or an MSP and you want to think about your business and collaborating, network platforms is certainly one of the first places you need to go to sit down and have a conversation. So how do they do that? How do they get hold of you if they want to achieve better efficiency and service delivery by partnering with network platforms?
They can just go to our website, which is www.networkplatforms.co.za. They can either email us or contact us. They can set up a meeting with one of our solutions architects. We're happy to have a discussion with them, see if and how we can benefit them, and take the conversation further. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Bradley, I've got to ask you, 3 decades in the IT sector, there's a lot of school fees under the hood there. There's a lot of experience. What are some of the most challenging moments that you've faced in your career, and how have they shaped your approach to leadership and strategy and building network platforms into the powerhouse that it is today?
I think building any type of business it's not an easy feat, and you have your ups and downs, and I think it's taught me a lot in how to deal with situations and deal with people. It's been rewarding, but it's also been very challenging at the same time. But
entrepreneurship is one of those things that we often talk to people right at the end of what has been a very grueling and arduous and long and lonely struggle in building a business. That's only the tip of the iceberg that we see is that success. We don't see all of that underneath the surface. So, Bradley, thank you so much for sharing fantastic insights with us. It's clear that network platforms is not just keeping up with the rapid pace of technological advancement in South Africa, but is leading the way in shaping the future of networking and IT services in the country. Look forward to seeing how your innovative strategies continue to evolve and impact the industry. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. It's been great.